Hi, everyone. Welcome to our lunch webinar. My name is Roosevelt Sanfilippo. I'm a principal and senior lawyer at No Borders Law Group um, in Sydney. So today's topic is employee sponsorship. I hope everyone can hear me okay. If not, just let us know on the chat. So employee sponsorship, what to assess before you sponsor an employee. Okay, just gonna go to the next slide. First, just a brief introduction of our group and who we are and what we do. So we are a migration law firm, and we were founded by Agnes Kamenis, who arrived in Australia from Hungary in 1987. So we assist clients with a range of services, from complex requirements, to more simple visas as well matters. We have a wealth of experience that we can provide the necessary expertise to our clients. Just gonna demit someone there. Yeah, good, thank you. So we guide also individuals and employers throughout the migration landscape, all sort of visas. We also have other divisions in our group. We have a commercial law division, an employment law division, and a property law. So any matters concerning those areas, we can refer to our colleagues in Brisbane for assistance. Right. Okay, let's just go to the next one. So why this assessment matters now? So sponsorship can be a solution to your business needs, but only when the role, pathway, salary, and evidence align. So what employers want is like few persistent vacancies. So we retain proven international staff, build workforce stability, and plan beyond short-term labor shortages. With the changes in the migration landscape in the last few years, employers are now, there is a broader range of occupations that employers can source from. And as a result, more employees become eligible for permanent residence, for sponsorship visas. Also in the last few years as well, reducing the working experience requirement, from 2 to 1, and making more people eligible for these visas. What can go wrong is like roles duties do not match NSCO. NSCO is classifications that the government and Department of Home Affairs uses to assess applications. So it is very outdated, and normally it doesn't reflect the current workforce duties, but that's what we do here. We assist you to find the best aligned occupation for your role. Salary falls short of market salary, so understanding salary market requirements, that's very important. Wrong visa pathway selected. There are different streams, and when it comes to sponsor visas, there are different streams of the same visa subclass, so it's important that you select the correct one. Evidence is incomplete or inconsistent, so everything needs to be aligned as to explain why you need and why you're sourcing, why you're using this program, the 482 visa program. What an early assessment prevents: avoidable refusals, unnecessary professional fees, lost recruitment time, compliance issues after approval. Okay. Go to the next one. So the sponsorship decision lens. So before lodging, employers should be able to answer 4 questions with evidence, not assumptions. So make sure the role fits, the ANSCO description, pathway, you're correcting the correct pathway, and the salary fit, if the salary meets the requirements, the legislative requirements, and if this business is eligible to and compliant to sponsor. Okay. So assessment 1, nominated position and ANSCO alignment. So look beyond the job title, that's our advice. So assess the actual duties to the ANSCO occupation description. So the current list has over 400 occupations on the list, so it's important that you understand what they are and what the official description is. Um, um, check seniority, autonomy, reporting lines. That's very important. That's what we do when we assess the applications and we guide you through it. Confirmation the role is genuine, and avoid inflating duties to fit a more favorable occupation. Yeah, with the list being broader now and extensive, then you often you'll find a perfect match there. You just need to be able to be familiar with the list and know what you find. Evidence employees should prepare. So position description, that's an example, right? Organizational chart, employment contract, recruitment evidence when it is needed, and CV and qualification and expert evidence. When we assist our clients, we do provide document checklists of all the stages required for sponsorship. And so if you don't have that already, then we provide guidance on how to draft those. Assessment 2, choosing the right visa pathway. So skills in demand for a 2 visa. So it's a temporary sponsorship for skilled roles. So common pathway for employers needing a work from 1 to 4 years. So now, now when I say now, it's relatively recent. You can request 1 to 4 years on your visa for a sponsorship visa. Skilled employed sponsor regional 494. So it's regional pathway for employers in designated regional areas. So designated regional areas are anywhere in Australia except Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. This visa was more common and more frequent to use maybe 3 years ago. Now that they have broader the occupation list for 482s, the need for 494s, it's kind of making 494s a bit redundant at the moment, but it's still useful for the right person and the right circumstances. Employer nomination scheme, it's the permanent residence pathway, either from coming out of a 482 visa or applying for permanent residency directly. Labor agreements, useful where standard skill visa settings do not fit the role, salary, location, or occupation. It's usually for occupations that are not on the list and low skilled or are part of an industry specific labor agreement. Going back to the regional part, you often find these labor agreements in regional areas as well. So they are already pre-made, and we were fortunate enough to work on quite a few of them here. So if you are in a regional area, then there is an applicable labor agreement for you, then that can be an option, because you can get concessions in terms of salary, also experience, age, and so on. Assessment 3 is salary and market rate readiness. So there is a minimum threshold that you need to meet. There is a minimum salary for 42 visas holders and applications. So the current one is 76,515 plus super. It's deemed to go up on 1st of July to 79, I think 79, 80,000, let's say it that way. And the minimum threshold, it's reviewed every 1st of July now and indexed by inflation. And so they'll make a review on every 1st of July. Annual market salary rate it's not necessarily the minimum threshold salary. It can be, not necessarily. It will depend on what occupation you are nominating and what is the market salary for that occupation in Australia, right? Also payroll and contract alignment. So make sure the base salary meets the requirements. If there is an allowance as well. Ensure contract terms match nomination details and plan for future review and changes. So it's very important that you are across all these requirements when you lodge an application. Because with the 482 visa, it's full of like a document my address a number of legislative requirements. So it's important that when you submit your documentation, then you are across those, So yeah, I'll go to the next slides. Assessment 4, it's the business eligibility and sponsor obligations. So before sponsorship approval, confirm the business is lawfully operating, financially viable, and able to comply with the sponsorship obligation, right? There is no, generally speaking, there is no minimum turnover required for a business to sponsor a minimum number of employees required or industry or so on. But it's important that we demonstrate that is, lawfully operating, financially viable, and able to comply. Ongoing obligations employers should expect. Keep records of the informations and provide information when requested. Notify material changes to the department. So that's another service we provide to compliance. When there are changes in the business structure or employee turnover or any significant event that it should be notified to the department. Ensure the sponsor worker works in the nominated occupation. Meet work placement law and payment obligations. Assessment 5, it's an assessment of the candidate. So make sure that you're meeting someone to the webinar. Make sure they have the necessary skills and experience to qualify for 482 visa. Where applicable, if they need to sit for an English test. The department has quite recently as well, increased the number of the types of English tests that are accepted. For some reason that I'm yet to understand, it's not all, like the score is not across all the bands required for writing and listening, so it makes quite confusing. Instead of having one band for all, now they decide to change everything, to make it more difficult to memorize. So depending on the visa that you're applying for, the different English requirements apply. Okay. License registration as well, very important requirement when it comes to permanent visas in particular. So you really need to be aware whether the license or registration is required for your role. Family and timing, that's also as well a crucial aspect of it. So you need to understand as well what the best strategy will be, to apply in Australia, offshore. So yeah, that's all the things that you need to consider for when applying for H2. Common issues that create delays or refusals, role mismatch. So you need to have an understanding of NSCO and what NSCO requires. Pathway mistake, like I said before, selecting the wrong stream. Weak business rationale. So a lack of explanation why the role is needed in the business. Candidate gap. So any gap on the skills, experience, English registration, etc. Poor documentation, outdated, inconsistent, salary inconsistency as well. So make sure the terms and the salary that you are offering to the nominee are applicable, are accepted. So the pattern, most risk can be reduced before lodgement through a structured pre-assessment and also an ongoing work on the file as well, right? Employer pre-sponsorship checklist. So again, that goes around like the position, the salary, skills and experience of the employee, pathway, whether the business is eligible, and timing as well, visa expire, starting date, if there is required any recruitment activities required before applying for the visa. So all those things you need to take in consideration when applying for it. You all look sometimes very straightforward on the department's website, but the department's website is well known for having very limited information. So as opposed to access to the legislation and policy, and so that's what we do here when I assist our clients. So business information, just examples of information that is required from the business, ABNs, current structures and sites, financial and payroll information, workforce needed, and recruitment history. For the role, position description, salary package, org chart, market salary evidence, and CV qualification and employment references from the applicant. So we assist you with all of that. Yeah, if you don't happen to have. So expert guidance matters for employers, for everybody really. So employed sponsor migration now demands precision, compliance, and forward planning. So we need to make sure that the business that align early will protect the workforce and strengthen the long-term talent strategy. So you need to have a strategy as to how you go about and understanding what you're doing, to make sure you tick all the boxes that when you apply. Now we do offer complimentary one-to-one consultations, not only with Agnes Kamenis, as the PowerPoint that says, also with me too, and senior lawyers across our group. So we do offer that free consultation, and we assess the eligibility of the business and the eligibility of the employee as well, right? So Just gonna leave the QR code there for a moment. So if you are interested, so you can book a one-to-one meeting, and we assess whether the business and the employee are eligible. Okay. To the next one. Yeah. So thank you everyone for attending. Again, feel free to jump into our website and book your free consultation and contact us. And I hope we can assist you in the future with your business needs if you're an employer, or if you're an candidate, an employee, then with your 482 visa application. Okay. Thank you, everyone.